Right, what is going on, people? Welcome to the video, live from the makeshift studio at home. I am on my own today, no guests, no boys, just me talking off the top. I wanted to do a little bit of a wrap up really of this year, because if we take it back to like the back end of last year, where I made a similar kind of video, where I'd obviously had a lot of reflection going on. I called it a day with bodybuilding, and then I was kind of back into it, and then I was all of a sudden in prep. A lot went on in that time, and I learned a lot about myself, and I thought if me putting this video out is going to help someone in a similar position, then it's worth doing it, whether it's 5-10 minutes long or whether I ramble for 25 minutes. I'm not sure. I'm talking off the top, there's no notes, there's no script, and it always comes across the best way, I think, when it's coming from in here rather than just, like I said, being scripted. So yeah, just looking back to like this time last year with that video I made of, you know, I'm done. At that time, a lot of people said, nah, you'll be back. And it was funny because I was like saying, nope, I'm done. Because when I make a decision, I stick to it, and I do. But I have said this in videos this year, is that you don't know how much something means to you until it's gone. And then when it's gone, it's like, I need it back. And, you know, with those people that were saying, nah, you'll be back, kind of rolling their eyes at it, perhaps they were doing that in a genuine way. You know, they could see the passion and the journey that I've had over the last 10 years. And that's why they were saying that, or they were saying it from another perspective, who knows. But the reality is, you know, I got back to it. It wasn't, a thought overnight where I was like, right, no, fuck this, I'm back, I'm getting back into it. It was a gradual process. Obviously, it was like 10 or 11 weeks post kind of trauma, we call it that, when I was in hospital, that I started getting back to bodybuilding. And then that was the turn of the year, and then obviously me and Carl got back on it, and right, we started dieting, and I was just, look, I want to get in shape just for Dubai. I'm not going to do shows, I'm just going to get a photo shoot done just to kind of mark the birthday. And then, you know, you fall into that process and you're back into it, and then all of a sudden all these things that you used to doing on prep, you're doing, but without a show in mind. And then the passion starts coming back, and, you know, obviously I had unfinished business as well, and then all of a sudden you're in prep. The one thing I learned about that though is, you know, doing the prep without saying I was doing prep, because that's kind of how I did it. I was calling it the Dubai Classic. It was just me dieting down for Dubai. But effectively, you know, behind closed doors, I was gunning for shows. I found that really hard, really, because in my past preps, I had put it out there. And not that I do it for any social media gratification at all, but that extra, like, outside pressure kind of helps you get through it. I would still do my cardio and obviously nailing my diet. Everyone's seen the condition I got in, so it wasn't that I was fucking around. But I also know, you know, the contrast between doing it by putting it out there on socials and doing it by not saying I'm kind of doing a show. There was definitely a vast difference between kind of how easy it was. Like, I found preps pretty easy in the past. The hardest bit is just juggling life outside of it. The prep shit that you've got to do is easy. So yeah, that's the one thing I learned about doing preps this year. And also, when I finally got to the stage at the first show this year, I wasn't ready for it, and I shouldn't have done it. I do kind of regret doing it. You know, the shape I got into was, you know, the best I've been. Yeah, we pulled a little bit more off by the following show, which was effectively the best I've ever been. But that first show, physically, I was ready for it, but mentally I was not ready for it one bit. I was not there, and it took a lot of work in that 2 weeks, not in the gym, but in here, of getting myself ready to do that. And the way I got through it was like, this could be the last time that I ever compete. You need to take it in, take the moment in, because otherwise you're just going to keep going around in this vicious circle of chasing that feeling. So that's kind of what got me to the point mentally where I was ready to actually do that show. And by that second show, like, everyone that was with me was around me. They knew how much I enjoyed it, how I was happy with kind of where we placed, what we walked away with. And I was done. Like, I was legit done. But, you know, sometimes I hear these stories online and on Instagram where you see these people putting these motivational things out, where it's only kind of when you get to that end point of like, you're kind of on a cliff edge and you're about to go over and everything is kind of like, feels a little bit shit, where there's a moment of kind of light or opportunity. And that's kind of what happened to me, because post-show I had obviously the Dubai holiday and I lived a bit of life through summer, still kept on doing what I was doing with my training and everything like that, and still kind of working towards building a physique. But in terms of actually competing again, it was still like, it was off the table. And then JP came along, obviously with the sponsorship opportunity out of the blue. Obviously I was a sponsored athlete with a previous supplement company at the time, but I think we can all agree, anyone that's watching this, TBJP, Trained by JP, is the pinnacle of UK sponsorships. And for that opportunity to kind of just land on my lap, it was like, right, they're obviously seeing something in me. They've witnessed the journey for the past, let's call it 5 or 6 years, where I've come from, where I've got to, potentially where I can go to with it. And that kind of gives you extra fire in the belly, and that's kind of why, just to explain why I've gone harder, because I had a conversation in the gym yesterday with someone I've not seen for probably 15 or 16 months, and obviously they witnessed everything that had gone on with the hospital in that last year, and they said, I thought you was done. But then obviously I've seen that you've become an athlete with Trained by JP, etc. And I was explaining to them, like, it's like, when that opportunity lands on you, you either run with it or you crumble. And that's why I've been going extra hard with content. That's why I've been going extra hard with like the training, the bodybuilding stuff has leveled up again. And that, you know, people will see that from the whole stuff that I've been putting out, from social media content to just being in the gym and my training sessions. You know, everything. I'm going to the gym now with the thought that it's work, like it's a job. It's not just me going to train now for the hobby, it's a job. And some may look at that and listen to that and think, you're not getting paid, this, you know, it's not a job. I'm on a contract, I'm a sponsored athlete. I've got obligations in terms of what I need to do social media wise, but in order to actually do that, you need to show that you're about it as well. So it all falls under the umbrella of being effectively a job, a role. So that's why it's all kind of happening as it is. So that's kind of like, just to give you a rundown on where we're at with the sponsorship and everything. But as a whole, I've learned a lot about myself this year with what I came back from last year with that stuff to where I'm at now. Because things have changed dramatically over the last 10 years. But in the last 12 months, there's been an even bigger, I feel, dramatic change, just mentally in me. Physically, yeah, there's been changes and hopefully they will continue and we continue to build. But mentally, there's been a big dramatic change in just what I'm putting into things, what I'm capable of putting into things, and how I'm a little bit more cautious about approaching things as well. So yeah, that's something I just wanted to touch on really. In terms of everything else, like Magic Eye is going from strength to strength. We managed to film with some real idols this year, and quite regularly as well. Things have kind of started going into my mind that where I want to take it in terms of doing things with the events and things. Some people that have watched the podcast will know kind of what I'm talking about there. So those are things I really want to get more involved in doing going forward. I kind of see that as an extra branch on the tree. And the podcast again, I'm super motivated to the podcast because I know how much people take away from it, whether it be the guests that we get on to, obviously explain their stories, their journeys, where, these guys are the highest of the high in terms of the industry that we're in. And obviously just the local lads, with the Boyo Chat and getting those on, because I know it resonates a lot with the local people and also, the amateur circuit really as well, rather than just getting the high profile guests on all the time. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that watches it, supports it, likes it, shares it and all that. Please continue to do so. And pretty much that's where we are at with everything. It's Boxing Day today, so I'm squeezing this in because I've just finished doing some new starters with my coaching. I do coach. There are spaces available if anyone's interested in that. Everyone's starting from the 2nd or the 6th. A few boys starting prep on the 6th, so I'm excited for that. So that's another thing I'm super passionate about as well, learning this year, is from coaching people on the competing circuit, travelling away to Italy, and just being there for those guys and helping those guys achieve the dreams that I once had of just getting on stage and going through that transformation and getting there and reaching that point. So yeah, I'm super passionate about that, and that's again a branch that is already on the tree, which I want to create more of, really. Make it its own tree, perhaps. We'll see. So yeah, we're going away tomorrow, 5 days. Friends and family are going over to Tenerife in Spain, so it's going to be a nice little rest, recharge, take the moment, ready for a big 2025. So just going to kind of cap this off by saying thank you very much to everyone that has supported me, from the magic 10 discount code with TBJP, because that is soaring to the rooftops. I appreciate it massively. I know Jordan and Corin are very, very happy with everything I'm doing there. And everyone that supports the podcast, the social media, anything at all that I put out there, really, I do appreciate it massively. So signing out. Hope you all had a good Christmas, and I wish you all the best for the new year as well. Smash your goals, and I will see you on whatever the next video is I upload in 2025. Peace.